All right. Welcome, everyone, to the podcast. But wait, before you go, it might look weird this time. This is not a normal podcast because we are in virtual space and we are not females, as our characters might look a bit different than that. And these are both men, both grown-ass men sitting at this table. I'm going to join them and we're going to record this podcast. But before we really start the podcast, this is video only, we are going to have a little discussion on why we are looking the way we are. It's going to be weird for new people. So with that, I'm going to join these guys today on the podcast. Here we are. All right, so we are now at the table and we have our guests here. And we have to ask first who they are. And then after that, they can answer the question, why are we looking like females in this game? You start first.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm Kumadrew. I have been playing this game for about 5 years, and I usually choose a female avatar because I just enjoy the aesthetic. I have had multiple characters that I've mained before, but I found this one that really fits kind of the way I move, and it looks cute. So, why not?
All right.
Yeah.
Then we have Sketch.
Hello, my name is Sketch. As you just said, I'm a recurring guest. I have been on this podcast before, so, I feel like y'all probably know everything y'all need to know about me if y'all haven't. Or if you don't, just go back and watch that episode, right, Scope? I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, you should watch episode 1.
It's a quick overview. Yeah, my name is Sketch. I've been playing this game for about 4 years, 4.5 years-ish, around there. And I use a female avatar because why wouldn't you? When you have a chance to look at like cute anime girl, they can have like nice bod, big tits or whatever, I just
you can interact.
prefer to look at a chick.
You can also interact with them.
You can interact,
Yep.
So,
People generally are like more approachable too. Like they'll come up to you more often, even if they are like, "Oh, you're not a girl." Oh, it's more approachable.
Yeah,
in
true,
this game,
but
most people are female avatars anyway, because of the fact that most male characters look very weird, not really appealing.
The male avatars suck too. That is another reason.
Yeah, that's a huge reason.
Great.
Yeah, and I would say that
not great.
My reason for this specifically is, I like the character, the aesthetics, like you said, but it also goes a bit deeper because I also have to like the personality of the character, like portrayed in a video game, or in this case, a video game, Genshin Impact. And I can associate myself with that character, like the personality, like a hardworking person that's like kind to everyone and wants the best, trying to organize a bunch of stuff. That's kind of what I'm doing here. So I also have to resonate with the character. I cannot play. Well, I can. You could portray yourself as a different character, like a villain, right? But you might not want to do that because of some associations, that come with that. Unless
you identify with that character as a villain. There are some good villain characters out there. Could be,
Yeah.
Never know. That's one of it's all about choice in this game. So at the end of the day, you can be whatever you want. Most people just choose checks.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you really got two options when it comes to high quality male avatars. It's either an e-boy or some kind of villain, or like very specific, like Million Master Chiefs out there, but like maybe 5 mainline like anime or game characters that are male that are actually like given any attention.
True. Mm-hmm. There is a lot of there's a lot of Spartans that be in this game. That's definitely would be like one of the most number one used male avatars in this game.
Yep.
People love being Spartans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen it as well. All right, well, I think that's enough for at least the introduction section of the podcast. So this is for the video only. Now we're going to start the actual podcast. So, all right. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the SUP podcast, the Scope Unmuzzled podcast. And today we have a special episode because this is also in video. And this is also for the audio portion. And we have 2 new guests on the table. We have a good friend, Kumadrew. And we have a recurring guest, which is Sketch. Sketch is there from the first episode, if you've listened to it. And I think most people that are into this podcast have at least watched the first episode based on statistics. So if you haven't, you can watch that. So we have 2 guests. This is going to be an absolute mess. There are going to be a lot of the likes, all the bad things are going to still be in this because it's video. I'm not going to I'm not going to do the full edit on the entire audio on this because it's just going to be too much work with video and audio. So bear that in mind. We'll see how this goes. This is maybe a one-off. Maybe if it gets good reception, we'll do more. And if people like it, the guests like it, then I will also consider. So with that, we go on to our guest, Kuma. Please, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, well, I am Kumadrew. I've been on this game for about 5 years. I've known both Scope and Sketch for a couple of years. I'm a big fan of VTubers, and I generally hang around a couple of clubs. And, I just typically just go around and see who's online. You'll usually catch me on worlds like No Time to Talk or, just hanging out in some Friends Plus worlds.
Okay, and what about you, Sketch? Do a small introduction of yourself. People do not know you.
Small, yeah. Yes, y'all know me. Reoccurring guest here. I was on the very first episode, Scope did. But yeah, my name is Sketch. Also a long-term VRChat player. Been playing about also 5 years. Long-time friend of Scope and long-time friend of Kuma. And yeah, if you want to know more about me, you can check out that first episode if you want a lot of detail, But yeah, I'm here.
All right, so we have 2 minutes. Yeah, and maybe you'll be in more podcasts. Who knows in the future?
Maybe.
It was kind of hard, to be honest, to get Sketch on. Yeah, it was kind of hard to get Sketch on, just because the fact that if you watch the first podcast, his tagline is "He's always late." And in this case. Gotta give it to you, Sketch. You did well because you weren't late this time.
I did get on. It wasn't due to constant getting reminded every so often, but I totally made it on time.
Yeah, I gotta give it also to Kuma to actually try and get Sketch to get on at a late time. He says it's not late. It's 6 p.m. for you.
Definitely still not. It's still not an ideal time for me, but this is fine. It's a good time. This is a good time.
Mm-hmm. It did take quite a bit of bullying last night, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you do some bullying right after I left? Because I left at 8 a.m. my time, and then I had to go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
And when did you guys actually get off and stop bullying Sketching?
I don't think I stayed.
I don't remember.
I don't think I stayed on much later.
I wasn't on because of this. I got off not too long, I was trying to be a good podcast guest and arrive on time. So yeah, good boy. So went to sleep pretty early last night for my standards. That.
And what time is that exactly?
We don't have to go into it. Let's go.
Okay.
From what my sources tell me, it was about 2:00 our time that I finally got off.
Bad time.
The reason being is because my roommate, he ended up going to sleep a little early, woke up and happened to see me making deals with the devil and whatnot to try and get Sketch on at the appropriate time. So, it's all pretty subjective and a little blurry.
Mm-hmm. Let's just say I got off early for my standards, but it was still very late.
It was late.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good to know. So let's continue on with the introduction of our guest, Kuma.
Yes.
Kuma, what are your work, your job, some hobbies? Do you have some interesting things about you? I know one thing that's very interesting about you, but I'll let you talk first.
Hi, I'm Kumadrew. I've been playing this game for about 5 years. I usually hang around a couple of clubs and close friends. I really like VTubers, and if you see me, I'll probably be in a Corona avatar.
Wait, so maybe something to preface for the audience. Why are both of you in specifically Vtuber Avatars? So this is a Genshin avatar, because the game, and I like the game, I like the character. But for you both, it's VTubers. So could you explain why that is?
Yep.
Well, I mean, I like their designs. I think they look cute. And, I think Akayu, which is the Vtuber I'm in now, kind of fits my personality. She's a bit of a lazy, cool type personality, laid back, which I kind of feel the same way. So I think it suits me, which is why I'm in this. Kuma?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like the aesthetic fits very well, and Koroni's energy is very similar to mine. I get really, I become a ball of energy sometimes, and other times I'm just kind of laid back, and I get along with just about everyone. So it helps that that the VTuber models that we chose are, so iconic, and they look fantastic. I mean, no matter what outfit they wear, it's going to be looking good.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I'm worried about is specifically this episode is you guys are using VTubers. I'm using a Genshin Impact avatar.
Do you want to?
I don't want to get canned. No. I wonder if this video stays up, because it might get canceled just because the avatar. Even though we're not trying to impersonate anyone, although that might be a thing in the future. Maybe we'll talk about that later. But
yep.
Yeah,
hopefully this video stays up. Change into another avatar.
No, you're good.
Okay. I can be Black Coordinate. That would definitely be not in person.
That would be more
different. The colors are swapped. The colors are swapped. It's different.
And then you guys, what if you guys also then swap places? Then it's going to be even more confusing.
If you want me to be in a Genshin, I can be in Hu Tao. I do like Hu Tao.
Oh yeah, you did use.
I think I've got a Genshin character.
No, but please do not change.
No, I don't.
Please do not change avatars during the podcast.
I've got the little grass
lily. That would be hilarious.
The new god.
You did that whole intro and showing us, and then the next frame we're just in different avatars.
Yeah, I know, right? Man,
it's just I roll the dice on whatever the heck they're gonna be.
It's random avatar generator. Yeah. Anywho,
yep.
So
we definitely am not trying to impersonate. Kuma, give me your best coordinate impersonation. Actually, don't do that. All right, let's go on.
Oh my god,
that's about the best I got.
Well, this topic is probably really not that interesting for a lot of people watching. Besides the weebs that we are, so let's move on to another thing, which is
guilty as charged.
Yep. As we all are. So, Kuma, do you remember how we actually met?
Oh, well,
that's a good one. Man. I don't even remember that.
That is hard. I would say half the people I meet on this game, I meet through other people. I'm almost positive I met you through Sketch or some other folks, and I do remember one of the first events that we did together was one of your one of your monthly
No, it was the
game shows.
No, it was there's the fucking game show. That's no, maybe later. It was the birthday party because I have footage of that.
Yeah, the birthday party. So it's
6th of June 2021. No, 2022.
I think so.
Or was it
something like that? Yeah.
Your first time? You just
no. I don't think.
No,
I don't think
it was. I don't think it was the first time. It was the first. It was the first major event that we did. That's what I remember. Yeah. It was our first major. We're all doing this together kind of thing.
Wait, what do you mean? That's what you remember?
I'm
so before that, I was not very memorable. Is that what you're saying?
I mean. No, I would say it's just one of those things where we mirror dwell so often, and it's one of those things where I know for a fact that we've talked before. That's just the one that sticks out the most. It overshadows the other ones because it was just so much fun. It was stupid fun.
No, that's a good compliment. There's actually going to be an event very soon, so hopefully you'll be in that as well.
All right, yeah.
But you said mirror dwelling. But mirror dwelling is something. Good thing my camera's on me and no one saw that. It's fine.
Yep. It was going to happen to one of us.
It's funny. It did not even happen all this time until now. So
yeah.
So when the cameras are rolling, then we'll get into difficulties.
Yeah, for the people watching, it's very difficult. We have had technical difficulties already so far in this video. We have tracking issues. So our because we are all tracked, like our fingers, our bodies are tracked. We can move around these pucks that are attached to our bodies to track our feet or our hips, whatever. But sometimes they try and, fly off into space at random intervals.
Yeah.
At random times, you can't control it. And that's not, it's God's power. We
Peak
can't
game design.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey man, you can't blame the game for this. Blame your tracking. Get better at tracking now.
Well, yeah.
No. VRChat is notorious for like having very finicky tracking. It's not.
Yeah,
They
it
know
doesn't help
it's
also
okay.
that.
Well, in general,
Yeah.
I would say that we are very fortunate on this table. Like just as like Africa got no fucking shit on this technology because we are in the virtual room with trackers on our bodies, like costing hundreds of dollars, and we are complaining about the things not tracking well. I was like, oh no, guys, what a sad day! What a sad day. We get so
You
frustrated.
could have just said, first world problems, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
This is what Mark Zuckerberg was trying to warn us about. Just kidding. He's trying to sell us this.
This is why he's putting
doing a way
millions
worse
into
job. Yeah, not doing a very good job with it either.
Yeah, because at least we have legs.
True.
Yep.
I can't. Yeah.
Do you still have your legs?
It's okay. You've got legs. You still got legs.
You still have your legs? They're
Do
still
I?
working?
Yeah, yep,
Yeah.
I do. I do.
Okay.
I still do.
Okay,
For now.
Yep.
For now, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, battery life is also that's an issue in this game as well. We're trying to.
Yep.
I think we all
Yeah.
have a Track Strap Plus, so like a extra
Yep.
batteries.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we
Yeah.
all. Yeah, so we all
Yep.
do.
Yep.
So basically, we have
course
these
we do.
pucks attached to our body that are tracking our hips. We have our controllers, which are just I think we all use index controllers, right? I think we all use index, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Valve index.
Yep.
Headsets, yeah.
Yep.
So
You
these
get to
things
move
track
your
our
fingers,
track our fingers, and for our hips and feet or legs, we
Yeah.
use separate trackers. And then we have these little boxes, black boxes in our room that look like security cameras that are tracking our every movement.
Yeah, I know, right? Some people be thinking they're security cameras when they see them. They'd be like, "What is that? A camera?" Looking at them, yeah.
Actually, I actually have tried to ask people that when I bring them over to my apartment, and I'm like, "Do you
Mhm.
notice anything weird about this place?" And they look around, and I was like, "No, it's fine." I'm like, "Do you
I
see
guess
these
you're
boxes
not, like-
all over the room? It's not very weird." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, they integrate very nicely, I guess." We
Yeah,
can
I
even
say,
put
I
like
guess
a
it's not that noticeable. Or
yeah.
Maybe
And where the
some people
spots you
think they're
have them.
surround system or something, like
Yeah.
those old school surround systems. Yep.
hmm
like, how many do you have? You only have 2, right? Or 'cause you can have up to like 4.
You mean
If you really wanted
you
to.
mean base stations?
The base stations?
I have
Yep.
3. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, you have 3.
Yeah. But fuck, what was I gonna say? Yeah,
I was.
they integrate very well, at least in my thing. What I can also do in this video, I can try. I'm not guaranteeing for the people that are watching the video right now. I could put up some pictures of the things we are talking about to have some more context. Like show a picture of the
Yeah, I
base
mean
station,
that'd be
show
nice.
a picture of
Yeah.
the index or whatever, just to give a bit more context.
Yeah,
I was
the
not-
trackers, all that good stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I was not expecting to be delving into like this in this podcast.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
here we are.
it's a podcast. We're talking about culture, technology, all the good stuff. Mark Zuckerberg, all the classic docket.
Yes.
hmm Well, Kuma,
Exactly.
do you actually know then how? Because I think we met through Sketch, like pretty certain. But do you know how you met Sketch?
Mm.
'Cause
Wow,
I think that goes back way further than us meeting.
A long time. We know each other a long time.
Yeah. No, I want to say, I was hanging out with. Oh my god, it's on the tip of my tongue.
Tomo.
I know, Tomo. Yeah. I was hanging out with Tomo, and I think we either met up in a world or you joined on me and Tomo in a world, and we were just hanging out, and we just clicked, and from there it was just like pretty much every time we hung out, it was like boom, like glue.
Yeah, so we met up with another VRChat I used to hang out with back then. Their name was Tomo. I used to join it on them, and they used to and they used to usually be around this one group that gets on like VRChat every weekends, and they do kind of weird stuff. And Kuma used to hang around that group a lot. So I basically met Kuma from a friend I used to hang out with, who hung out with a bunch of people, a group that Kuma was a part of, and that's how we met. I guess me and him just clicked between everybody else there, and we've been hanging out with each other basically ever since. It's kind of funny because I don't think me and him don't even hang out with the other group we met each other through.
Yeah. Not as much VTuber fans in there, you know.
Yeah. Wait, so how long ago was this roughly? Like when you guys meet?
Years ago. Like that's the best answer I've got.
Yeah.
Most accurate one, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew Kuma before I met you.
Definitely. Probably, yeah.
Yeah, and we've known each other like what, 3 years? 3.5 years? Somewhere?
2.5.
Has it been 3 years? It's been like 3 years. Yeah. 3 years, 2.5 years. I think mainly more leaning towards 3. So we probably known each other like 3.5 years. I don't think it's been 4 yet, has it? 3.5 to 4?
I want to say we met up before the year that shall not be named dropped. You know, I think it was before that we met.
You can call out. It's historic, whatever.
Yeah. COVID kind of like drew a lot of people online out of necessity, just because
we knew each other.
What are you gonna do? You're gonna
before COVID, and COVID lasted 2 years. It's been around for actually longer than 2 years now. Wow, whatever.
Yeah, so if you're in a state like like Washington or California where you can't do anything on the weekends, what are you gonna do? VRChat.
Yeah,
or games or whatnot, you know.
Yeah, so both of you guys are from Texas, right?
No.
I'm from Texas. Kuma's not from Texas.
Kuma's not from Texas. Okay. Where are you from?
I'm a bit of a traveler. Well, I guess should I just start with my rap sheet, or should I just say where I was when I met?
You have a rap sheet?
Oh yeah. No. I've got a breakdown by year of where I was at.
Oh damn. Give us like a quick rundown, I guess.
Okay. So I was in the military. In 2012, I was basically sent over to Korea. Stayed a year there. Went over to Georgia for another 4 years. 2017 came around, and I went over to Colorado. And in Colorado, I ended up getting shipped over to Kosovo for about a year, and then from there went back to Colorado. Moved up to Washington, and then I've been in Washington for about 3 years before I got out, and now I'm in Kansas. So yeah, I've kind of been all over, and I kind of been playing VRChat in a couple of different continents. So U.S. and in Europe. So that's cool.
That's pretty fun.
So do you actually think you should, continue traveling more also in the future, or do you settle down now at a certain state?
Well, I kind of, it's hard for me to imagine that because I spent so long in the military, just doing what you do. But, I'm never going to say no to an opportunity that comes by that's really fantastic unless I end up with somebody who wants or needs to settle down. For now, kind of the world's my shuffleboard, and I just keep on shuffling.
All right.
Keep that truck on moving.
Yep. But the good thing about my job now is that I will occasionally travel. So I do go out of state from time to time, and I'm able to like scratch that wanderer's itch. So yeah, it helps a bit.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, speaking of all the wandering that you do you actually have any specific goals that you want to achieve in maybe this year, like a New Year's resolution, or maybe long term that you look forward to?
Oh, specifically, I do want to. I have been I've got a good computer setup, but I do want to upgrade. I do want to get something fresher. So that is just kind of one of those where do I get now and, just kind of accept the downfalls of the new video card series, or do I wait and, get the better one, et cetera, et cetera. But for the most part, I do want to go to Japan, and I do want to travel a bit more. I only spent a little bit of time in Germany, but I'd like to go back. I haven't been to Italy yet. And I would say, like, just kind of in general, I went to Ireland while I was over in Kosovo, did a little bit of combat tourism, as somebody had put it. But, basically the government sends you to a place, you get an opportunity to take leave, and you go to places around it. But, I would like to see Britain. I would like to see a couple of other places. So, I would love to go travel. But, it like everything, it costs money.
Yeah. To bounce off of you, sorry, I was just bouncing off of you. I don't travel much either. I've only been to few states outside of my own. And if I were to ever travel outside the states, I also would like to go to Japan, which I'm actually planning on going to this year for the first time ever.
So you guys can go together?
Yeah, I mean, if I got the money and the time.
I know.
Yeah.
Gonna be like late in the year, around October. The plans right now, so I guess we could. I don't wait. Have I not brought that up to you? No.
I think you might have. It's just one of those things. Yeah. We'll make it a
you want to go
international friend meetup.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you're really down to go, I mean, that would be cool.
Mm-hmm. We'll give everyone the details. It'll just be a big international meetup.
Yeah, we could do a podcast out there in Japan. That would be interesting.
Actually, you say that. You say that. But I've done a podcast before with my other friends, the Extravaganza. That's out. That's with people from the UK and people from that also man VRChat, and they went from the UK. Some guy from Norway. They went to Amsterdam, and then because I live in the Netherlands. I was their tour guy, whatever. But we had an Airbnb here, and we actually recorded a podcast in that Airbnb, and that's now up on the SoundCloud. So technically, if I meet up other people in VRChat in real life at other locations, and I bring a microphone, I guess we could record a podcast and then continue on that track of extravaganza, just outside meeting people in real life in a group setting. I know how many people you want to actually go there. To Japan. Do you have other people you are traveling there with? Right
now, it's 3 of us. Right now. So I mean, we would be without Kuma and I. Yeah, without Kuma, yeah. It's right now the plan is me, AR, and Wiggs. Wigma. So that's the plan right now. And we're open for more people. I'm not sure about them, but I mean, if I tell them y'all would possibly want to go, they know you, so I don't see why they would be opposed to it. If y'all serious about it. Oh, yeah,
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But
that'll be nice.
We're definitely going to go. We're definitely going to go around late October. So, really, I always wanted to go to Japan. I always said it was a goal of mine to go to Japan before I turn 30. And I plan I'm going to accomplish that.
Well, yeah, that's awesome. So. Isn't that I think that was one of the goals that you actually talked about during your own podcast, right?
I think I probably did mention that.
Yeah,
when we talked, for sure. And I'm actually going to accomplish that goal this time. So follow up to your first podcast. That's fine. Before.
Follow up. Progress on the journey, as it were.
Yeah.
It's
a fun journey. Cool. That y'all could be a part of, maybe, but we'll see.
We'll see.
I guess there's gonna be an update later on. Yeah,
and then we'll have an update with the actual the group of us just in a room with a microphone talking some shit.
That is going to be. Can you imagine if that will be one tiny room with a lot of people?
Oh yeah.
Right now it'll be. It's 5 people in one tiny Japanese apartment. Oh boy.
It could be literally
the ultimate off collab. Yep.
Off.
Look, with Tatsu, sipping our tea, eating our little oranges. Yeah, it'd be a good time.
Wait, but I don't think that one will be a video podcast, right? I don't think that. Oh no, that would be so hard to edit. I'd have to actually have a camera set up. No, I don't have that. I'm not taking that with me.
I feel probably a couple of people there probably wouldn't want to be on camera.
Yeah,
I mean, I
also.
wouldn't-
we'll just-
Neither would I.
We'll just we'll wear full body cosplays. Like we'll be Master Chiefs. It'll be like VRChat but opposite.
I thought you were gonna say like the anime
You mean
cosplays.
VRChat IRL.
The
Yeah.
I mean, we could be the anime. I mean, I just don't know. Oh, I don't know
Are
many
you able to
characters
pull
that
off a
have
good
a full
Corday
face.
cosplay.
Oh no, it would be awful.
Like, yeah.
Like I am the physical opposite of Corone. Like I am
Physical
neither
specimen.
small. Yeah. I'm an absolute unit. Like it would not be Corone. Like I could probably pull off jokingly I am a gorilla. Like I could probably pull that off.
What about the bus? The
buff ame? Yeah.
Yeah, the
Buff
buff
ame? Maybe. I would have to I'd have to start doing my crunches and whatnot, and some planks. But yeah, I could probably get it. I could probably get that.
Alright.
If all else fails, just put a stomach wrap on and put some like what is it? The Hawaiian sweet rolls for the 6-pack.
Man, I think we have ideas enough if we want to do something like that. So no lack of creativity in the group, especially.
Very.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. One of the topics I actually have prepared for this, which I don't know what you guys did back in the day. So this is more like a childhood memory kind of thing. So,
Okay.
So what I used to do when I was younger, well, very young, I used to collect certain things. So collect things like, well, beginning maybe like Pokemon cards or like one of these little coins. And I also had a specific thing like bottle caps for beer, like beer bottle caps, because they're like all different. I used to actually collect that as a small kid. And did you guys actually have something that you collected when you were younger? And maybe you still do. And don't say guns.
I mean,
don't say. It might be. I'm on a table with Americans.
Smith and Wesson.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean,
so,
I used to like.
besides that.
I used to collect like Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I used to play the game when I was a kid back then. I guess I used to collect Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I don't think I really remember. Like, how young we're talking about here?
I think it was like 12 or something, or even younger.
Like 12? Yeah.
Well, it doesn't really matter. Like,
Only
so
thing I
do you
think of is,
still
like,
collect
Yu-Gi-Oh,
something
yeah.
nowadays? Like maybe or just something that you stopped collecting from the past.
Well, go ahead.
Oh no, you can go first.
Okay. I mean, in general, when I was a kid, I was very interested in collecting a couple of things. I got one of those, around, I can't remember exactly when, but the United States started printing state quarters. So I got this little tin, it was like a little lunchbox that had 5 cards of like 10 little states that you could put the state quarters in. And it's like, oh, you get to collect all the states. Well, I got like maybe a quarter of the way through that and just kind of dropped it. But I was kind of like that. I was very like hyper focused for a little bit, and then I just kind of drop it. Like I collected rocks and like all kinds of small little knickknacks if I thought it was cool. And it just kind of ended up being like just kind of a bit much. But I still have things like I've got a little bottle of gold and a geode and things like that I still have from when I was a kid that I thought was really cool. Nowadays, though, I would say like I guess this is just like I guess everyone in the military does this eventually, but anything cool that I've did, like I found one of the last 50 cal shells that I shot, 50 BMG. I still got that. Still got 5.56, and I've got some links and whatnot, and basically you end up just with so much junk that it's like, yeah, there's always a corner that a veteran will have that'll be like, oh yeah, if they were a tanker or an artilleryman, they have a shell of like a 155 or whatever that they had, or a fake shell, I should say. Nobody wants to be packing high explosive in their home. Yep. So they end up collecting small little trinkets and like kind of. Some people do little light boxes of like their entire career and where they were at and the patches and whatnot. I've got that stuff all like ready to go. I just don't have a space to put put it. So, and right now it's a work in progress.
That is amazing. And
Wait,
I just collect anime figures.
Yeah, I was about to say that. It's like you have one thing you collect, which is anime figures. But
Yeah, I was thinking,
well,
I think
actually,
that's a good way to play off that.
yeah, exactly. So Kuma, you actually brought up a good point because I was at a like a guy that was selling some stuff that I was buying, and in his garage he had, like you said, like a tank shell or something, like a really big thing. Not with actual explosive in it. I was like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
But probably, you know, when I see that, when people have that in their home, it's like military. Probably, right?
Yep.
That makes sense.
For whatever reason, you'll be a private one time, you'll be a pack rat, you'll be like, oh, this is so cool, and for some reason you end up with like 20 links of whatever, and it's just like, I will never use this, but it looks really cool. And so you just kind of keep it, and it's kind of nostalgic, even though, you know, you're always supposed to turn everything in. You're not supposed to take anything home. Everyone does.
Yeah, I guess it's like a unwritten rule. Like I guess you can't really do it, but they are not going to enforce it.
Pretty much. You always end up with some kind of memorabilia. I know somebody who collected sand. Lots of people, they collect sand with it wherever they go. They'll have little jars and whatnot. So anywhere they went, anywhere they served, they have a sample of soil, even though that's pretty bad according to customs. Don't worry about it. They don't need to know.
I would imagine one of the cool things about, you know, being in the army and traveling to all those places is all the possible memorabilia and stuff you could like collect along the way, just going to many different places, states, countries, whatever. So definitely give you an opportunity to be a collector of something, I would imagine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, so Kuma, you're saying that if you really like collecting things or you like to travel a lot, you should go into the military, right?
Travel, collecting, all of the things that you could ever want. 3 square meals in a day and plenty of pay. Join the military. See your
join the USA. Oh my god.
And we are recruiting from foreign substances, so go to the local embassy and
and this is not propaganda. This is 100% truth, right?
Yeah.
We do. People can serve as not being a citizen and then earn their citizenship, but it's one of those things that's like, you know, every military is different, and really what makes the United States Army different is just that we're really good at supplies. Our supply nerds are just really good.
Well, couldn't you technically, because the US has a lot of bases around the entire world. So probably if you live in a Western country or any country, really, you could probably find a military base from the US that's pretty close by, right? Is that something that you could then also work at?
Oh, yeah. Well, unfortunately, the part they don't tell you at the recruiting office is, you know, it is a service. You're not there for yourself. You're there for the country. So where they need you is where they need you. So sometimes you get to go to Kosovo or Korea or somewhere that you might not necessarily think you want to go.
So you're basically saying, like, if I want an all-expense paid trip to Japan, I can't just, like, join the military and request to go to Japan. But
no, it's not always like that. A lot of different branches have their different options, and one of the things, it's the simplest way is to say it's possible but rare. The more detailed way gets into all kinds of changing numbers and statistics, like if there's going to be 20 people at one base and they know that 5 people are leaving, then there's going to be 5 slots available. So it's going to be hard to fill those if all they're waiting for is volunteers. So a lot of the times those slots are already filled before you even know that you want it. And that's kind of the logistical problem of like, oh, I want to be here. Well, it's not always in the numbers, you know? The simple answer is it's possible, but it's rare. That's obviously, really kind of what it comes down to, because the time of year, what's going on in that part of the world, and all kinds of other factors play into it. So you never really have a simple answer.
I feel like it would be very problematic if you had a choice where you could go. Everybody would probably be picking the most, you know. the same
Almost drop
spot.
it.
Yeah. Suddenly you have a million soldiers in Italy and Japan, and nobody wants to be in Germany or in Korea.
Yeah.
Yep.
For real.
Yep. But, it's one of those things. It is a service. So at the end of the day, you sign that dotted line, then you belong to Uncle Sam.
Do you actually have any interest to go into the military sketch? Or just for traveling
Oh,
far?
no. Definitely not.
You're not the kind
Definitely
of...
not.
Well, you're not the disciplined kind, I would imagine. If you're always late to things, that's going to be a problem in the military.
Oh, yeah. That would be very problematic. Yeah, I am not... Yeah, I don't have very much discipline when it comes to being somewhere at a certain time, waking up at a certain hour and stuff like that. I mean, I do
waking
have
up at a 6
job I go
p.m.
to, but and stuff like that. I do wake up for work. I'm not like a complete bum, but not ideal.
Wait, so Kuma, when's actually the latest time you had to get up for military duty?
The latest time to get up for military duty. Well, that's an interesting question, but generally, most people have, at least in my experience, most people have got to be up and at 'em around 5 o'clock, but your shift can change. You could be on night shift, especially if you're in something that requires it. Not all jobs are equal, unfortunately, and sometimes you are in that cush job where it's like, oh, hey, I need to be up at, I need to be up at 5 o'clock in the afternoon because my shift is later. I work a night shift. So there are jobs. It's just one of those things where even if you think you've got that job where it's like, yeah, for sure, this one is like, it's a 50-50 chance to get night shift. There's a myth. It's a bit of a curse. So whatever you want in the military will find a way to take it away from you. So it's like you could have the job lined up and get promises left and right, but then all of a sudden get grabbed up for some kind of detail or some kind of duty where it's like, I didn't want to be this, but I was the only competent person with a security clearance, so they put me in here. It happens sometimes.
Yeah, I guess beggars can be choosers in that case, yeah.
It's one of those things. It's one of those things where, it is a service, so you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, but Sketch, I feel like you are...
I will say, though, just a comment on that little thing. One of the funniest things I find, especially with people thinking about joining the military, it's like, I won't be able to do what I want and things like that. And the ironic twist in that is if at any point you're found out to be an artist, your commander or somebody who's in charge of you is immediately going to go right to you because they're going to think of a t-shirt idea or something like that. And they're going to be like, oh, this is going to be great. This is going to do it. I want you to do this. And it's going to be one of those things where it's like, but I don't want to. And they're like, oh, come on, it'll help out the unit, things like that. So there's always pressure on artists to try and do unit stuff or to build the motivation. We need a big mural on this wall. I need you to do that.
Is artist even an official job you can get on military? I know they have jobs you can get. Is artist even a thing?
Ironically, they do have jobs for graphic artists and things like that for public affairs and whatnot. So they do have people that do little graphics for websites and things like that. So it's funny. The answer is yes, but rarely. Very similar to getting.
You have to be really, really good or something.
Typically, the Army will always teach you exactly what you need to know, but there are jobs where you do got to apply. So it's one of those things.
Wait, so Sketch, you could be in charge of state propaganda in certain countries. Join the military there.
Do you think I will be? What gives you the impression I will be good at spreading propaganda? I don't know where this is coming from.
I don't know. Maybe you start spreading the Vtuber lifestyle. It's like, go watch.
Sure, you are
my Vtuber. It's the best.
I mean, they've already got esports in the military, so why not? Virtual recruiters.
Yeah. Technically, you already do spread that kind of propaganda on your Twitter, right?
Yeah. I was about to say, if I was good at spreading propaganda, there would be more people that have read my online comics, and that's definitely not the case. So, yeah, that's not the job for me.
Yeah, friendly. Man.
Real. If anything, my viewership has been tanking since I mentioned it on our first one.
What is that about?
Now it's just going all downhill, baby.
Yeah, you talked about that last night, and I still don't get why. So you said like after the episode that you were on, which I don't. Did you actually link that on your Twitter or something?
Link what?
The episode?
Podcast?
Yeah.
The episode? No, I didn't. Definitely not.
Should. Where's my exposure?
No.
Where's my exposure, man? Come on.
No, hey, you wanted me on your podcast. Okay. That's fine. I don't want to. Not that I have a problem with telling people to watch it, but on my Twitter, try to get that separate. I don't want right now. I don't really have any personality attached to my Twitter. If that makes sense. Like I just kind of just post my writing on there. They don't really know much of the person behind it. No, I'd rather keep it away for now. Unless I blow up or something.
Well, also because you use didn't you use like a slightly different handle as well?
Yeah, I do use a slightly different handle. My name is not the same on there, and you're not going to force me to dox my Twitter.
No, I know. I think you already did during the first episode.
I probably already did.
I think it's in the description or something. It's not that big of a secret.
It's probably there somewhere. But yep, you're gonna have to go out of your way to find it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go back to episode 1 and watch.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, another reason to go watch episode 1. Yeah. Anyway. Back to Kuma.
Get that retention number up.
Yeah, exactly.
What's next? Hit me with another one.
Okay, so this is maybe a stretch on my side, but this is my experience, right? So I grew up with computers, with technology, like when it was like growing up, like before the iPhone came out and all these kind of things, or even the internet. I was in a period of my life where I didn't even have internet, and I would go to my neighbor actually, who was also in my classmate. And we would go on the internet and we would go play Flash games. That's what you did back in the day. And ever since I got my first laptop and the internet and these kind of things and gaming started to be even like more of a thing, I used to just close myself off and just go play video games, or play video games even with some of my friends that I had back in the day. And I would stay indoors for a lot of my younger years, I would say. But as I get older, I have the feeling that, okay, I kind of get it. Like I get video games. They're kind of getting the same now. They're getting kind of boring. You have things like this, like, the whole VR thing, which I mostly just see as like a social activity.
This is not really a game.
Yeah, so I've noticed that over the years, as I've gotten older and gaming's gotten more boring or samey, I crave to really go out more and just experience things with people in the real world, or just simply play video games exclusively just to communicate with others. And I feel like I might not be the only one that's in that boat of like, I used to be inside a lot, and now I actually crave to be more outdoors because, kind of being a nerd used to be more of a niche back in the day. At least it was, when I was younger. And now it seems to be everyone is on their phone. Everyone and their mother's playing like Farmville, or I don't know if that still exists.
Some kind of game.
Yeah, some kind of fucking old game, or Wordle, or whatever.
Yeah.
And everyone's playing games now. Everyone's attached to their screens, and I've done that already. I've gone through that phase, I feel like, and now I really just want to, go outside and hang out with people. These seem to be a thing I desire more. Is there something also you guys experience? That video gaming or staying indoors all day kind of lost its charm. A lot of people are doing this now. I want to do the opposite thing, the hipster thing, I guess. You could call me a hipster.
Kuma?
Well, I would say it's kind of a little bit different with me. I did, for the most part, stay mostly indoors. I was actually for the majority of my childhood, I was homeschooled. So I got very used to interacting with, or being comfortable with myself and being able to do things like games or reading and things like that, alone activity. But I did have other outlets. I was in the Boy Scouts, we did do church stuff and all kinds of things. So I did have a social outlet, but for the most part, my Monday through Friday was kind of, what kind of Age of Empires am I going to encounter? Or, whatever games I was into at that point. But yeah, it's kind of funny. When I was in college, I did nothing but social stuff. Like I bought an Xbox 360 and I bought Halo 3, and that's all we played for like a month. But it was together. I didn't play alone. I don't even think I touched a campaign until I was already like really good with like how to control it, because we were playing multiplayer so often. And by the time I joined the military, I got more into PC gaming. I had built a computer previously at college, but I kind of went back into more of the reclusive lifestyle where, hey, you know what? I've done my work. I've had my social interaction for the day. Now let's play some Fallout. But now let's become the hermit again. And I did that for, quite a while. And then VRChat came out, and it's kind of a blend of the two, where I've been, yes, mostly a room goblin, but I've been talking with people. I've been seeing, and I've always been like that. Anytime that I have like retracted into my own space, I have known people who do the same thing. I was interested in anime and whatnot before the military, and I did seek out people who were into anime while I was in. There was all kinds of people I've met, and I mean, I still hang out with people that I met in who we had the same interests. We still hang out every now and again. I'll go fly out to them or whatnot. But yeah, this game's kind of a blend. So you get the social aspect, but you also get to be a total room goblin.
Yeah, so you kind of found the good balance between first being very social, homeschooled, so not very social, but still trying to pursue that.
Yep.
And then during college, being very social, then again going back to being more secluded, and then trying to do basically both things. Which is like, that's why games like this, like VRChat, are very interesting, because they kind of combine the two. You get to socialize, and you get to play games also with your friends.
Yeah.
Because you can do something else than just this. Like, we are recording this, but there's so many things you can do in VRChat or in VR in general with your friends that it's insane. You can come up with your own events even. That's what I'm hosting, for example. These are not things in the game. They're just some challenges I come up with myself. And then we just invite some people.
The game gives you a space to do that, like to do what you want, like host events
exactly.
or whatever. Like that. This game provides you like the opportunity with a VR space, where you can interact. The possibilities are endless.
Mm-hmm.
Just what's the fun thing about this? Like how we're hosting the podcast. I'm pretty sure this game is not made for podcasting, but you can do it.
Yep.
No, it's also not made for podcasts. My goddamn PC over there, apparently, because of all the technical difficulties today. And also, this game doesn't really help. No, we'll try and keep everything intact. We'll figure it out at some point.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what's your point on that sketch? So what was your life like? Just always playing games, being very secluded, or always being very social? I feel like it might be similar to my life, but I don't know. What's your take on it?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I mean, I have always been naturally a person that likes to... Like, I enjoy my alone time, naturally, but don't get me wrong, I do go out and do my first share. I like talking, it's kind of funny, I like talking to people and interacting with people, but, I wouldn't say I necessarily would go out of my way to hang out with a large group of people all the time. I know this is kind of weird, contradictory statement, isn't it?
Well, no,
I don't think of
Well, some people enjoy small groups of friends. Some people enjoy bigger, larger crowds.
Yeah, but I also don't mind the bigger ones. Like, I want to say majority of my time I have spent throughout my life. Spent alone. Well, alone as far as being at home. A better way would be like, I enjoy my first share of time outdoors. Like I go to anime conventions. I go with friends. We go to games and hang out with our friends. But I enjoy my home time possibly a little bit more. But there's nothing wrong with going out. So it's kind of like I want to say I'm majority an indoors person, but I enjoy going outside from time to time. And I'm spent most my childhood was spent indoors, playing games, hanging out with like cousins and friends coming over to my house, and we played games and hung out in that kind of social environment. Really didn't start going out that much until I really got to college for the 1 year, and that's really when I started doing majority of my outside activities and stuff like that. So, I mean, my take on it is, I enjoy spending time indoors, but I also I'm kind of mixed of both. I feel like I keep going back and forth with that because it's kind of weird. I've been sitting here thinking about how can I answer this. What is that with me?
Well, I feel like it's
you're like a bit of an indoor and an outdoor cat. It's just whenever you want to feel like it.
Yeah, mostly indoors though. But I do enjoy hanging out from time to time, like going to conventions and hanging out with friends. Like if we're going to events and stuff like that, from time to time, But
but I feel like if you are younger, then you don't really have you have a lot of time, a lot of free time. You don't have the money really to go to cool places or travel or whatever. So you're probably just going to stay in your homestead, your home community, interact with those people from school that you meet there in your local neighborhood. And then as you get older, you get more freedom. As in, like, you go, you get a car, you go use public transit, you go to places. You can go to festivals, you can go to conventions, like all those kind of things. You have more money. And eventually, if you get older, of course, you can go travel further places and meet people over there. Or if, like what we're trying to plan, like going to another country and then meeting each other there. Those are not things you can really do as a kid, of course, unless you try and convince your parents. Like, I met these people online on Xbox Live or whatever. I want to meet them. Yeah. They're like 12 years old. So can I get a plane ticket over there? Yeah, your parents are probably not going to approve. So it might be just
probably. They'll probably be like, they'll be like, that's enough internet for you.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's an interesting one. I need to probably think about that a little bit more to see properly a better way to answer that than what I just did, because that was kind of all over the place. Hopefully somebody out there get the point.
I mean, sometimes it's just like that, where you're just kind of not sure where you stand. I know for me, for the longest time, I couldn't decide whether I was an introvert or an extrovert. And kind of what I kind of settled on is I like being alone for the most part, but I can totally be extroverted when I want to be. Like, it's one of those things where I don't get the same anxiety. I don't get the same anxiety that a lot of introverts do when talking to strangers. But I mean, put me in a situation with a pretty girl, I will sound like a stuttering idiot. Yep. So
have you actually done a personality test to check if you're introverted or extroverted?
I did do back in college. I did what's the Briggs one? The 4-letter. I always forget
the 16 type.
Yeah, the Myers-Briggs. Yeah, I got the gamer one. It was like INJT or something like that.
INTP, something.
Yeah, I've never heard of this.
Yeah.
So you're an introvert then?
Yeah. Yeah. So I am. I would say I'm naturally drawn towards introversion. I get my energy by having alone time. If I can have an entire conversation in my own head. And it's just one of those things where, like, that I get my answers and I get my energy from introspection. So introversion is my natural state, but I can be extroverted. I can be, I can be out there. It's just one of those things where it's less natural to me, and I got to try harder to do it.
Well, do you think that because this is also an interesting topic because you've been homeschooled, do you think that has actually influenced your social aspects? Because you have, like you said, you went to Boy Scout or some other social activities outside of homeschooling, which of course that's a good thing. Do you think that has hampered your sociability at all?
Ironically, I don't think so. My older brother, my younger brother, and we all are different in our own ways. And my older brother is probably one of the easiest person to get to know. He pretty much latches on to people immediately. But he's totally a homebody now. Like his wife and kids are all doing their thing, but he's still totally social. My younger brother, on the other hand, I feel like he's social to a point, but basically extremely loyal. I'm kind of neither. I'm a little bit standoffish, but once I get to know you, once we get close, like then we're tight. So it's very different between the three of us, and I feel like for the most part, my homeschooling has kind of not done anything that I can tell. I mean, I spent my high school years in public high school. And the only thing that I feel like I didn't get from being being in public school with them is the drama that comes with middle school. Because I didn't know the alliances or the friendships that were broken during puberty. I was just there after the point, and the same kind of drama still went on. Somebody hooking up with somebody's crush, or some gossip and whatnot. It's all the same. It just gets a little different. As you grow older, you get more responsibilities, you get more ability. So, street racing becomes a thing once you're 16 and above. Going out to the beach at 12 o'clock at night because you feel like it, but then breaking curfew. That's more of a thing rather than just being at the corner for a little bit too long. It's small changes, but not substantial in my view. But for the most part, I think I've adjusted pretty well.
Wait, so are also your siblings all homeschooled?
Yeah, we all had a similar growing up. So pretty much from elementary school until high school, we were all homeschooled. And from high school on, it was up to us. So, for example, my older brother went to a public university. I went to a private college. It just had a better scholarship opportunity for me. So, yeah, that's where I went. And I had a good time with where I was at, and he had a good time where he was at. So neither of us, I don't think, were ever socially like a failure to start.
That's the word I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of a word that's a little bit kinder than
less condescending.
Yeah.
It's still weird, man. Yeah, growing up, I always had no trouble talking to people. Even to this day, I love meeting and talking to new people. Like whenever I'm in a setting, let's say if I was like, I don't know, like an after school program or something like that. If I see somebody that seems interesting, or just like sit down and start talking about them, or to get to know them a little bit. Yeah, kind of a weird one, isn't it? I mean, I consider myself an introvert mostly, but I don't mind talking and meeting new people in certain settings.
Have you done that personality test as well? That Kuma?
I have not. I think I mentioned I have never heard of that when y'all were talking about it. I'm almost positive I'm gonna come off as an introvert on that. I almost can guarantee it, but you never know. Again, I spend majority of my time alone though. So or indoors. Mm-hmm. Well, not really. Well, indoors. Even do most of my childhood, I was like Kuma. Like me and my cousins they spent long summers and hours over here playing like Halo all day long, all night long, nonstop. And we rarely ever did any outside activities as a kid. We just spent majority of our time indoors. But I was socializing with people. They just used to come over to my house because I was like the guy that had all the video games and stuff like that.
Oh, you're that guy, yeah.
Yeah, I was like that guy.
I think we all had that person in class.
Nights and
Yep.
Let's go to Sketch House. He's got a GameCube and 360 and play games and stuff like that. It's pretty interesting. So many hours through my childhood just spent playing games.
Yeah, I had something similar where I didn't have many games or like consoles at all. I had a PlayStation 2. That's the only console I owned. Or no, that's family thing.
Wow, a PS2.
Well, no,
wow.
wait, no,
that's funny, actually.
No, like Super Nintendo and like PS2 and then just PC. And then my friend that I made in elementary school, he would come over to my place. I would go to his place. He would have like another PS2, or had more games, whatever. And we played that for a while, like when we first get to meet each other. But then we're like, we've seen these video games. Let's go do something outside. And just go do random shit outside. Go bike outside, or build like paper guns and start blowing like blow darts at like, I don't know, some stuff outside.
Instead of us doing that, we just did it in Halo. Forge World, going there, the imaginations run wild in the video game. That was pretty much like my middle school, late elementary school, childhood.
I find it kind of weird then. So you still have to do the personality test. But for me, I'm actually, I've done the personality test expecting it to be introversion.
Link it to me.
Yeah, I will link it after the podcast. No, I would expect myself to be an introvert because I used to be so alone and alone time a lot during when I was younger. I love that. But when I actually did the test, I came out extroverted. I'm like, okay, maybe I have to answer it slightly differently, or I'll try it again in like a month or two, see if it changes. I did it again. It didn't change. It was the same. It was like NFTJ or something, or FJ. Basically, EN is extroverted. So I got extroverted. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. But if I look at my dad, he's the one that is very extroverted. Like usually when we go to like a grocery store or any kind of event or go do anything outside or inside, doesn't matter. He'll try and strike a conversation with just random people. Even if he brings his car to the garage, he'll start talking to some of the people that work there. Even though they're like trying to do their fucking job. There's just my dad's like, oh yeah, so how's it going? How's the car? Yeah, it's a good car, right? He's like, yeah. It's also always trying to get some validation on some stuff. I seem to notice that. But yeah, I guess I got that extroversion from maybe my dad, because I always wanted to be like him. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, sorry to cut. I was just say in my case, it's like highly situational though. Like I won't be able to do that just in any environment, but it's situational. It depends on like where I'm at, who I'm with, what's going on more so. Like I gave up like good example. Like if I was just in like at school in an after school program somewhere, we're just like in a room, and I just see somebody sitting over there that looks like it'd be fun to talk to. I go talk to him. But if I would just like out and about and randomly at a grocery store waiting in line, I start a conversation, whatever. Maybe not. Depends on how long we're in the line or like what's going. If there's something, but it really depends. I say if I would go out of my way or not. It depends on what's going on.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm just not in the mood to talk.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess that could be the case for anybody. But yeah.
Yeah,
there
for
are some
me,
people who just wouldn't talk at all, regardless.
Yeah, for me, when I'm out and about and I just trying, it's just a purely transactional conversation where you're just trying to get shit done because you want to go do the other thing people are waiting on, or you're in a hurry. You're not going to strike some small talk with people. But, if you're just on an off day, don't really have much to do, very relaxed, you could just strike a conversation with people. But yeah, I think in most cases, also for me, if it's purely transactional, I'm not going to strike a conversation unless, like you said, something happens, or I know someone drops their glass or something, and something interesting happens in the scene, and then you try and make a joke out of it or something. But other than that, probably not going to strike a conversation just like that. So yeah, very highly situational, I'd say.
Yeah, I think one of the best examples of like different types of introverts that I've seen recently in anime is Bocchi the Rock. They have Bocchi, the main character, and then what's the bassist's name? I forget her name. I'll remember it. I'll remember it later, and I'll be mad. But Bocchi is very nervous, very hyper neurotic, and to the point where like she can't function without like worrying about how other people see her. Whereas the other girl, she just kind of doesn't care. She will literally like tell on text like, I don't want to go. That doesn't sound like me. I feel like so often people put this image of an introvert being like, oh, I'm too shy to do anything or to tell no, or like I'm just a pushover. But in reality, there's multiple types where like you could have people who are just absolutely transactional. And it's just like, once you get done talking, it's like, boom. And then they'll sit there alone in their silence in their head. I can be like that sometimes where I'm just, I answer a question, then boom, I'm off whatever I was thinking on. For all I could be like thinking about like the last 10 minutes we've been talking about, but I'm probably thinking about like whatever I was thinking about before. Like, some kind of, what kind of bird is that? ADD moment, something like that.
Well, just to clarify that, because we're talking about like social skills or whatever, but technically, like the textbook definition of introversion, extroversion is either an introvert derives energy from just being alone, needs to recharge at home, and once he is out with other people socializing, it drains his battery. So he can still be out there, he can still be social, but it's going to drain on him. And the opposite is true for an extrovert. So he needs to be in social situations to actually recharge, and in alone situations he'll get lonely and just like lazy, whatever you want to call it. Not feel very energized.
Yeah, I can't imagine me being at home making me so I guess that would mean I'm an introvert. Because it definitely take energy to socialize. Even though I like doing it, it definitely I would definitely classify as it taking energy from me as opposed to recharging me.
Yeah,
One way to look at it.
Then that would mean you are an introvert. Although I'm kind of weird because, like I said before, I guess I did kind of socialize with people just online, through like TeamSpeak at that time.
Yeah.
So I did seek that social interaction even when I was younger, but I didn't really notice it. I just looked at the periods when I was alone playing games. And now I do see
humans are social animals.
Yeah, exactly.
We are social, we are naturally, we should be naturally wanting to socialize with other humans. It's just a part of who we are. So you would think even the most introverted person, should want to have some form
of interaction,
interaction with a human being.
Okay, so
I feel
if you're saying that Sketch, then that would mean technically I could ask anyone in my friends list or anyone in VRChat, and it's like, yo, come on this podcast right now. We're gonna talk, we're gonna socialize, and you're gonna enjoy it because you are a social creature. That's not. I
don't think that's what I meant.
It's probably not gonna work.
That's not what I meant.
No.
Yeah.
VR pill, you're next.
Again, that is I told you it depends on the person. So it could depend. There's levels to this scope. Not everybody. I mean, some people like some form of interaction, but how much of that interaction varies from person to person. Everybody's not the same. And I would assume.
Go ahead, finish your thought.
I was just about to say, and people who requires less and less interaction, that's what we call introverts, and people who require more and more or crave more and more are extroverts. So, it's levels to it. I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would also say in general, there is a comfort in just simply seeing people and interacting, just a simple nod or a smile. That is a bit social, even if it's not what people would typically think of social. So maybe just going out and eating a sandwich by yourself and watching people live their life. A lot of people enjoy that, kind of people watching and just enjoying being around people without actually being involved. So I think there is a social aspect in that for them, at least. It makes them feel connected.
I'm about to say, there's plenty of people that do that in VRChat that plays this game and stay mute and never talks and just hang around people all the time. And I guess it's just like a way of people. Yeah, they just enjoy being around, or they just too nervous to talk, or maybe a combination of both. But
probably a combination of both.
I guess it's a good way for people, to remind people to confirm that they still exist. I guess obviously that will make them feel good for somebody to acknowledge your existence from time to time.
Yeah,
especially if you don't interact with people at all. So yeah, that makes sense.
There's a fine line between messing with your mutes and then bullying your mutes. You just got to know where that is.
Yeah, true, very true. I've experienced with that. No, but you bring on an interesting point because, for example, in couples, if you are in a relationship and you are, let's say you are together in the room as a couple, you still get some kind of energy off of the other person just by being in a room. Like even if the other person is doing something completely different, like one person is reading a book, the other person is like playing a game, like something completely different, then you still enjoy each other's company, even if you're not directly interacting with each other. Like just being in the room already gives off that energy.
Yeah, and I feel like in a good relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
If the relationship is good, healthy, it could be really bad if you're in a room with somebody you don't like and you're forced to be around their presence. So it could have the opposite effect.
that is
a telltale sign.
Yeah.
You'd get on edge, yeah. Yeah, but I feel like that's the same thing with hanging around friends, just enjoying the company, just the energy, the vibe that's going on in a group. And people really enjoy that. Or otherwise they would just leave, everyone's free to leave.
Yeah, which makes it interesting. You said it, because it can have a very positive effect, like you're saying, but it can also have the opposite. That is.
Mm-hmm. Well, so that's a fun thing that's different in this specific context of VRChat or just like digital friendship compared to real life. If you're in a room with someone that you don't really like and you're getting bad vibes, you don't really want to hang out with a person, you can't just really just leave the room, because you probably have to say, okay, yeah, guys, I have something planned in like 20 minutes. I need to leave now. Catch a bus or something. Find an excuse to leave, and then you leave the room. In this kind of environment, or at least in VRChat, which I still find kind of rude, especially during the beginning when I was in this. If people don't like the conversation, or they've been talking with you and the conversation changes to a topic that they don't really like, they can just be at any moment like leave, like just disappear, and people wouldn't really bat an eye
or whatnot.
Leave, yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Or even lower their volume. There's a lot of things you can do. A lot of.
Yeah, but it's those are the things you cannot really do in real life. You have to come up with an excuse or some awkward way, and then people will try. And I feel like in real life, people would pressure themselves to be more in a situation that if they really had the opportunity or the choice, they could just leave. They would just do that. But in real life, you kind of have to, kind of get away.
There's a bit of a dance.
Yeah, there's a bit of a dance that goes on.
Here's the thing, though. You would think in theory it would be that simple in VR, but even in VR, it's usually not. Because let's say, anybody could leave at any point, but there have been plenty of times or situations where, let's say, you're hanging out with friends and somebody joined who don't get along with that particular friend. Yeah. Like you friends with each other, and then they join, and then they're friends with you, but they don't like the person you hang around. And sometimes in that situation, it's not as simple for them to just simply leave, because then they'll, or people, because they kind of want to hang around you, and then you're I'm saying it should be, but there's plenty of times when the people will just make it not that simple. Sometimes it depends. Even people, they sometimes make it even more awkward in VR to leave when it really shouldn't be, like you said. It's very interesting. Even though it's VR and you can leave whenever you want, sometimes those situations still pop up. I guess it just depends on friend groups and people and mishmash of people and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and there'll be times, I've had times when people have joined up with me and needing me in a time of need, and it's I'm kind of in the middle of something right now, but at the same time, I personally, for me, I don't really have a whole lot of times where I'll just kind of turn somebody down, but in any other situation in real life, you're not just able to pull up, who's in a friend joinable world. You'll have to call them, and if they don't answer, then you gotta rely on somebody else. But with VRChat, if you're on
you can pull
a social world, and you pull exactly, and it's kind of easy to stalk people that way too. Unfortunately, it's a benefit and a downfall to it is sometimes people are kind of shitty like that.
And as I would say, Scope would probably rebuttal. Yeah, you could probably stalk, but can't you just block them and leave it at that? But no, you can't, because then they would just stalk your friends or be in rooms they know you're possibly be in and bothering the other people. So it's not always as black as white as we try to make it, even though it is a VR game. Yeah.
Yeah, but it depends on the person that you hang out with, right? So some people are very shitty and stalk. You have those in real life as well, just the stalkers, the weirdos in a group, the psychopaths. And if you get into a fit with them, then these kind of things happen. And online, not much different. But it's easier to stalk people online than it is to stalk people in real life, because social consequences.
Also, it could be a lot more
physical consequences. Physical consequences too. If you're breaking a restraining order, then you're going to jail. But it's also a lot harder to just say, for example, make a new profile, look for that friend that you want to stalk, and then just be a ant-sized avatar, and then just listen in on what they're doing. If they're in a Friends Plus or a public world or whatnot, then there are ways to manipulate it into basically just all kinds of things that are just unfortunately part of the internet. being able to suddenly make an account to hate follow people. That's a big thing on Twitter. So, it's part of the age we live in.
Don't hate follow Sketch.
And they love to hate on a lot of things in Twitter. Yeah, don't hate follow me. Or I'm going, no, follow me. I don't care. I'm going to say something controversial.
Follow me. Yeah.
Yeah, hate reading my manga. Yeah. It has a lot of stuff in there that you will.
Please hate, like, and hate subscribe to the video.
Yeah, hate, like, hate, subscribe, and hate donate too while you're at it.
Yeah.
I don't actually have a donation.
Well, I think that's...
man.
Just to bring up one last topic, because I think we're going a bit long on this. But you bring up an interesting point. Yeah, I know. You bring up an interesting point, though. So would you say that we should abolish... So some people before this, some people are more free speech or more anonymity. Would you abolish someone being able to use a fake name that's not attached to their real identity online? Or would you say everyone needs to verify their identity online, so if you do something bad that's out of line, they can be held accountable? Or you say, no, I'd rather have people be able to pick any name they have, like we have here on our table, and just be their own persona, be their own selves. And if they have any consequences, do something bad, they can get away with it. But of course, the caveat is you can do bad stuff, illegal stuff, stalking people without any consequences. Yep. So what would you prefer? That we validate everyone's identity, that it's linked, and then you do have consequences also in real life? Or you say, no, we should have should be anonymous also on the internet? Or just
so here's the thing about that. So if that was the case, then you would probably lose it. So they can't really, because what we say, let's use VTubers as an example. Like their whole persona is behind the character.
That wouldn't exist anymore, yeah.
So that wouldn't exist, because if they would have to like come forth with their actual identity, like they just wouldn't, like it would just completely wreck that entire thing. And there's a whole thing when it comes to like manga artists, a lot of them go by pseudonyms. They almost never use the actual name. So that whole thing would be abolished. So yeah, it's a very like the internet is just the internet. Being anonymous is just a part of what the internet is. And if you take that away, I just don't feel like the internet would be the internet anymore. It would just become something completely different. So I will be wholly against the whole identifying thing personally. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got a kind of an interesting take on this. On one hand, I see the appeal for verification. The simple fact is, we have such terrible cybersecurity across the board. If we were to verify every single website that we're on, the risk of cyber attacks is just infinitely more. The ability to have a fake persona or a fake name, or to not have our identity attached to it, is a layer of security in itself. It is it is being anonymous, and it is protection. From that standpoint alone, I would say I don't want verification. But I have another simple verification, or another simple point that I'd like to bring up as well. All of the time you'll find in real life that people will be anonymous with each other. There's a group called the Hash House Harriers. And what they are is they are, as they put it, a drinking club with a running problem. So essentially, back in the day, if I'm getting my lore right, if somebody knows, put it in the comments or something like that. But the Hash House Harriers were a bunch of military people stationed overseas, Australia, wherever it was. I think it was the British who started it. You didn't have a whole lot to do. So what you would do is you would start this club. This club would be a bunch of people they would use fake names. It'd be like Jack Rabbit or Billy Toad or something like that, just something random. And the point was, you were anonymous because you don't know whether you're enlisted, officer, a civilian, whatever. The whole point is you are fraternizing with somebody you don't know if you should be or not, but you're doing it for the sake of just having fun. Having that anonymous...
Wait, one point. So these people that are meeting up in real life, right? But they are using pseudonyms. Mm-hmm.
Fake names, yeah. Pseudonyms.
What if you, for example, have a general that you know, and you know how he looks, you know him by name.
Yep.
He also joins the club.
Yep.
then you know.
Well, here's what you know. What you know is that person who looks like the general introduced themselves as somebody else. They want to remain anonymous. So if you go up to that general saying, hey, I know who you are, I know where you're at, you're the asshole. You're the one who's breaking the rules of the game. You're the one who, he might know you, he might not. The point is, you don't acknowledge it at that point. Because the whole point being there is being anonymous. Now, if say a general was there, and you did come to him and say, hey, I know you were drinking on Tuesday, who do you think's going to win that? Like, you're just an enlisted man or an NCO or a lower officer. Like, you're not going to walk away winning. But the point is, you draw a line in the sand and say, hey, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. You know, for the most part, it's a gentleman's agreement. It's a rule that, hey, you know what? As long as we're not chopping people up in the middle of the woods, all we're doing is running around, drinking, having a good time. And there's all kinds of rules and stuff like that. What they do a rabbit chase or a hare chase, and it's a lot of fun. But the point is, there are social clubs, social activities that demand being anonymous, or at the very least, leaving your outside persona at the door. All kinds of people like to role play, playing Dungeons and Dragons, or even playing some LARPing, live action role playing.
Yep.
So a lot of people do that. Reenactments, things like that. A lot of people leave who they are at the door just to have some fun. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's the same with sports. I mean, you're not going to not tackle. You're not going to not tackle your supervisor if he has the football and you're on the opposite team. If you do, it's not a sport anymore. It's not fun. If you're able to leave who you are at the door of an activity, then you're able to truly treat people like equals. And that's why sports and games and all kinds of places like that, it's absolutely necessary to have some sort of anonymity.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
The word. It's very difficult.
Yeah,
say.
That word.
Yeah.
Need to be anonymous. That's one way to put it.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's an interesting point. And in the case of like the drinking thing in the military, you could just snitch on each other, because if one guy tells on you, then you can tell on him. So you kind of have each other at the crossfire. So that's why you don't do it.
It's like a snitch fest. It seems like that's like a big
Yeah, exactly.
Seems like that would be not ideal in that sort of environment. It'd be just as bad as like snitching in prison or something, I feel.
Yeah,
I don't think
but I do understand. I do understand the concerns of people, but at the end of the day, I think treating people as equals is more important than weeding out a few of the bad cases. I'm more for freedom, less for security, but that's just the American in me.
Yeah, I do have two Americans on my table, but I do have to agree that. So the security thing, I did not even think about. That is a good point, especially if like the government starts we're gonna save all these identities in one single database. It's totally secure. No, it's not. It's fucking not.
Totally secure.
The no-fly list got leaked recently. That's if that should say anything, then no matter who you are, you're going to be vulnerable. That's anyone who's in the cybersecurity profession knows it's not if, it's when.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So for me, I am a very much a advocate of free speech. That's also why this podcast is called Scope Unmuzzled, because I'm not censored and I can say whatever the fuck I want.
I wish it was called Scope.
Don't say the N-word. Just don't say the N-word for other reasons.
How dare you?
Well, you can, I guess. Just not on this. I'm going to cut that out. No, don't.
Cut this out.
Nagasaki.
Yes.
No, but because I grew up since like 2012, I started going on like 4chan and stuff, and I really see the merit of those kind of platforms where everyone can just be anonymous and can say whatever they say. What?
I said you got corrupted early.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I guess. Well, not yeah. It depends on which kind of boards you go on.
4chan is true. But
it's a bit all over the place. No, but anyway, so I saw the merit of that, because if you go to other places like Reddit or even like Discord, whatever online forum you go to, and if there's a voting system, so people can upvote, downvote your post, then the discussion is really going to be more one-sided from what I see, or people just say something that speaks up their mind. Maybe they're ill-informed, right? They don't know about the entire thing. They take things out of context and they just post a dumb opinion. If you are on a platform that's like heavily regulated and you just get downvoted into oblivion and your post just disappears or just gets deleted or you get banned or whatever, that's not a good way to handle that conflict, because people should be able to speak up their mind and give their opinion. Regardless of how retarded it is, people should be able to say that. And anonymity allows people to say stupid things without those kind of social consequences. So even if you're like completely ill-informed about a certain topic, you could be like, oh, here's my dumb opinion. Please someone prove me wrong. And then a lot of people, trust me, the internet, a lot of people will prove you wrong. But at least you have a safe space to do that. Because if you do that in real life, people get ostracized, or you have to do it in like a small, close group of friends. Like, please don't tell anyone. But actually, I don't really know how this works. It's like, I don't know how to tie my shoes. Could you please tell me? It's like, if you're in a Boy Scout, I don't fucking know. But I do believe that anonymity is it's good this time. I do believe it's a thing we should cherish, and it's something that allows people to really be themselves without being censored. Even though in real life you shouldn't really be censored yourself, but we all know there are some social consequences at play there.
Yeah. I agree, and especially with a general democratic system, what you'll find is it gets really out of control real quick when somebody who wants to make people react, trolls, things like that, they come around. Everyone was an edgy 14-year-old at one point. Sometimes they just get a rise. They enjoy getting a rise out of people, and in a pure system like that, you're going to get more people just hating on that. But I think, like you said, the cause of that, or that happening, is totally worth it if what you're going to do is either expose people who have incorrect opinions or who are looking for enlightenment. And being anonymous allows us to have that kind of stupid question where it's like, oh, well, what happens here? It not only gives people the ability to be equal, but it also allows people, rather than using their authority to prove something, using reasoning and
logic,
an argument to prove something. You can't just say, oh, well, I'm a professor, blah, 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 blah. Anyone could say they're, a rocket surgeon if you're anonymous. But and in the same way, somebody who works at NASA can have the wrong opinion about something they don't work on. They might be a rocket engineer, and they probably don't know the first thing about automobiles. Although I would probably say they're a pretty bad engineer if they can't figure that out.
Hey, you'll be surprised. Right. You will be surprised.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's a nice discussion you had, but because we are going on so long, I think we should end it. So
how long has it been?
I don't know, because I don't have a timer. It's fine.
Yeah,
I'll see it in post.
There's so much
I'm not going to edit so much.
You could have asked. You even asked Kuma about the drinking already. Don't you usually ask your guests?
Oh, wow.
Wait, we're going to out each other's. Oh my God. Maybe another time.
Are we just going to start talking about vices now?
You asked majority of your guests, from what I've heard.
Well, I've got some suggestions from people in our group, to what kind of questions to ask. So that's why.
It's just more reason to have us both back on. This is part 1 of part 6. Whatever.
True. Who knows?
One day. But yeah, we probably should be wrapping this up. It's been a very long time.
Yeah, and
it has.
I also need to go.
I know you got stuff to do. Yeah, you should be going to bed, and I also have something I need to do. So yeah.
Yeah. Anywho,
I should probably eat something other than Five Guys.
Probably, yeah. All right. Anyway, so I would like to thank our guests, Kuma and Sketch, for attending. If you have something to say to
Yeah,
our
no problem.
listeners or viewers or whatever you want to call it, please do that now, Kuma. Anything you want to say to the listeners?
Yeah, hey, thanks for listening. I hope we were able to answer some questions or be able to give you guys an entertaining look into the craziness that happens on VRChat. Come on sometime. If you're ever around, you'll see me most likely in a Corona avatar, but if not, I'll probably be small. Just look, if it's not Corona, just small.
Just look down.
And we'll have a conversation or, maybe do some drinking. Who knows? Maybe next time.
All right.
Yeah, I have nothing to say. I'm here again. Maybe for the last time. I'm pretty sure I said that the first time.
Yeah.
yes.
This will not be the last time.
Definitely, So yeah, we'll have to see about that.
Says the person that enjoys talking with people. Oh, I'm not going to be on anymore.
Yeah.
I don't like talking to people.
I said there's levels to this. There's levels to this.
All right. Well,
I like being the one to initiate the conversations usually, not the other way around.
You're free also to ask questions during the podcast. I never said that I'm the sole person to ask these things. Anyway.
I feel like I did ask some, start some. You want to?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I really don't remember. There was a lot going on here. I honestly don't even know when we even started. When did we even? I don't know, but that's fine.
We just kind of went off everywhere.
Yeah, I know.
It was kind of a amoeba looking circle.
When the podcast started, I wasn't even sure if the podcast actually started or not. I still don't really know, but I guess I'll find out.
Yeah, we'll see if the recording is actually running. I did think
can you imagine if it stopped?
Then I would have to schedule this another time. Anywho.
No! All that content? Nah. Okay, let's end, please.
Yeah. Okay. So with that, I'd like to thank you guys. I'd like to thank the listeners also for sticking around. So this is a video podcast and audio podcast. If you are listening on audio, you can look at the video. If that gives any more, idea of what we're doing. And I hope you stick around for next time. Next time, I don't know if it will be video or not. That depends on this specific video, if I'll continue with this. If people like it, if people like the guests enjoy it, if the listeners and viewers enjoy it, then I'll continue. If I enjoy it, because if I enjoy the editing and the suffering that goes on trying to produce this shit,
there's going to be a lot of editing.
Yeah.
The Wizard of Oz, curtain being drawn back.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
So if that all goes well, then I'll see you again next time. So with that, thank you all, and until next time, peace out.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Mine do.
Yeah, it's just awkward. The position we're in. Pop, 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 pop.
This is recording, so just put this in the bloopers.
Is it? Are we good?
Wait, are we good? Hold on, let me check again.